The Kardashians have been running this business for a very, very long time. They got famous out of nowhere. A sex tape with a black man. A reality show built on the backs of black relationships. Billions made from aesthetics that black women had been ridiculed for wearing for decades. And every single time things got messy, who ended up holding the bag? Not the Kardashians, never the Kardashians. The men, the black men. Girl, we need to talk about this. Because the conversation has always been framed around the curse, the Kardashian curse. The idea that these women are bad luck. That some supernatural force is at work draining the life out of every man that gets too close. But what if the curse isn't supernatural at all? What if the curse is the strategy? What if this entire time, what looked like coincidence was actually a carefully engineered machine designed to take black male energy, black male culture, black male credibility, and convert it into billions of dollars for one very specific family? Let me break this down for you. Let's start from the very beginning. Before there was a Kylie Cosmetics empire, before there was Skims, before Kim Kardashian was worth $1.7 billion. There was a girl who was working as a stylist for Brandy, a girl who was, by all accounts, completely unknown.
Hi, Kim. Back up.
Sean, you're hurting me, Deshaun, behind you.
Okay.
Not much to do now.
Bye, beautiful Kim.
Kim, are you going to be visiting Paris while she's out?
You smile for me. Wow.
Are you going to Vegas for her party? Kim?
Kim, did you talk to Paris yet?
Have a good day, Kim. Where? Hey, everybody, Brittany's over there.
And then came Ray J. Now, we all know what happened next. In 2007, a sex tape of Kim and Ray J, recorded back in 2003, went public. And almost immediately after that, Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered on E! The timing suspicious. The result? Kim went from stylist to superstar overnight. And Ray J? He went from being Brandy's little brother, a genuinely talented R&B artist, to being permanently defined by 9 minutes of footage he cannot escape to this day.
You see what this family, the Kardashians, have been able to do. You look at Kim, who's a billionaire. You look at the younger sister, Kylie. She's
love what Kylie's doing. Amazing.
Close to a billionaire, if not a billionaire. All the family.
For sure, B for Kendall, and I love what Kendall's doing, and Kylie.
How different are their lives minus this tape?
That's a crazy question, man.
Because we know who their father is, because he was one of the lead attorneys on OJ. Rest his soul.
Rest OJ too. Damn, that nigga just died. Rest in peace, OJ.
The man is still in court over that tape in 2026. A California judge recently denied Kim's request to seal a $6 million settlement agreement related to it. $6 million. Meanwhile, Kim is sitting on $1.7 billion. Ray J is still fighting legal battles. You tell me who won that situation. And that's just chapter 1. Because after Ray J came Reggie Bush. Now, Reggie Bush in 2007 was one of the most exciting players in the NFL Heisman Trophy winner. New Orleans Saint. The kind of athlete the league builds highlight reels around. And then Kim slid into his life. They dated on and off for 3.5 years. And during that time, something strange happened. Kim's star kept rising. Every tabloid, every magazine, every paparazzi photo with Reggie, it was all about Kim. He became a prop in her story. And sources have since claimed that while she was with Reggie, she was already sending messages to Kanye West behind his back, already plotting her next move. Amber Rose, who was Kanye's girlfriend at the time, later confirmed that both Kim and Kanye were cheating on their respective partners with each other. She said Kim was a homewrecker. And in 2019, reports emerged that Kim herself admitted she was obsessed with Kanye even while still with Reggie, saying he was fashionable and exciting in a way Reggie just wasn't. So let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Reggie Bush got publicly used as a stepping stone, Kanye got lured while already in a relationship, and the Kardashians walked away with the bag every single time. Yikes. And then there's the matter of Kanye West. Now, before we even get into what happened, let's be very clear about who Kanye was before Kim. This man dropped the college dropout, he dropped late registration, he built an empire with good music, pioneered an entire sound in hip-hop, and started building the Yeezy brand from scratch. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a cultural institution. They married in 2014. And for a while, it looked like a power couple for the ages. But behind the scenes, something very different was happening. A teenage filmmaker named Nico Ballesteros was given unlimited access to Kanye's life. He filmed over 3,000 hours of footage across 6 years. And what those cameras captured became the 2025 documentary, In Whose Name, which hit theaters on September 19, 2025.
Kim Kardashian is seen having a meltdown in the new trailer for Kanye's upcoming documentary titled In Whose Name. In the minute-long teaser, Kim's heard struggling with her now ex-husband.
I'm off my meds for 5 months now.
Your personality was not like this a few years ago.
It's a calling by the universe.
Never tell me I'm gonna wake up one day and have nothing.
We can talk about that later, but
It ain't no but.
Ye then discusses his religious experience and journey with Jesus.
When I went to the hospital, and one of the ideas was to do a church.
Yeah, I just been embarrassed or ashamed to cry, man.
When we're at the prisons professing how Jesus can set you free, it's true. Thank you, Jesus. I decided to run. I almost killed my daughter.
And the rapper appears to have had an emotional moment, feeling his creativity is being restricted.
Dead, need to be on medication.
Either they destroy me or I destroy it.
it's a bad dream.
They're killing our ability to think outside of the box.
And I'm almost like a masochist.
I write whatever I want, when I want. It's word.
And girl, what that documentary showed was not pretty. In one scene, Kanye is screaming at Kim and her family, saying he feels emasculated in this house by his wife and Kris Jenner. In another, he's confronting Kris Jenner directly, asking her if she feels partly responsible for his mental breakdown. And Kris, through tears, says yes, yes. She said yes.
I would rather be dead, not in jail. Because I'd rather be dead than to be on medication. No one from the family has taken any responsibility for my hospital visit, but if we were to go online, that's 50% of what people say at least. Or maybe, am I lying?
It doesn't matter.
Am I lying? It do matter! It does matter! It does matter!
I haven't finished the sentence.
It does matter!
It matters to us and you. It doesn't matter what the internet says. It matters what we think. Yay.
So what do you think? Did you have an effect on my mental health?
Yes. Yes. I'm saying yes. And I love you. I love you. I don't want you to be not perfect. I love you. And I want my daughter to love you the way you want her to love you.
Kanye himself described watching the documentary as being like being dead and looking back on his life. And that might be the most accurate thing he said in years, because what the documentary captures is a man who was already dealing with a bipolar diagnosis, going off his medication, slowly losing grip on reality, while the Kardashian machine kept spinning. Kim kept building Skims, kept growing her platform. And when Kanye finally became too unstable, too unpredictable, too much of a liability, she filed for divorce in 2022 and walked away with billions intact. Kanye went from rap royalty to losing his Adidas partnership, losing billions, losing his credibility, and losing his mind in public. Kim walked away with the brand deal, the kids, and $1 billion empire. You want to tell me that's a curse? That's not a curse, that's a calculated exit. And while we're here, don't sleep on what they did to Khloe's roster either. Because Khloe Kardashian has a very specific type, and that type is promising black athletes at the top of their game. She finds them at their peak, and she leaves them at their lowest. First, there was Lamar Odom. Before Khloe, Lamar was a two-time NBA champion with the Lakers, averaging double-doubles and playing some of the best basketball of his career. They met, they got married after 1 month, and within years, everything fell apart. He developed severe substance dependency. cheated relentlessly, and in 2015 was found unconscious in a Nevada brothel. He nearly died. Khloe paused their divorce to cover his medical bills, but the NBA glory was gone. His career never recovered. And Khloe? She moved on to the next one. Then came James Harden. Now Harden, at this point, was an MVP contender for the Houston Rockets, one of the most lethal scorers in the league. And then he started messing with Khloe in 2015. He later told Sports Illustrated that dating a Kardashian was the worst year of his life. His exact words, the worst year of his life. And then, as if Khloe hadn't already done enough damage to the NBA, she went and picked up Tristan Thompson, Cleveland Cavalier, 2016 champion, solid player with a real future. You already know how this story ends. Cheating scandals, babies with other women, public humiliation, multiple teams, career in decline. The man has been bouncing around the league ever since, and nobody is talking about his game anymore. They're talking about his drama. I don't know what it is with Khloe and NBA players, but she has single-handedly affected more sports careers than any injury in league history. And if you think Kylie was any different, think again. Because before Travis Scott, there was Tiger. And Tiger, whatever your thoughts on him as an artist, was working. He had records, he had momentum, he had a career going. Then Kylie started hanging out with him when she was barely 17. He left his child's mother for this. The financial problems started piling up, back taxes, rent lawsuits. His career momentum stalled. And by the time Kylie was done with him, she had absorbed the aesthetic, the lifestyle, and the cultural cool that came from being with a black rapper, and moved straight on to Travis Scott. Travis Scott. Now this one is complicated because Travis's career actually grew while he was with Kylie. But here's the part nobody talks about. The Astroworld tragedy happened in November 2021. 10 people died, the lawsuits hit, the brand deals disappeared, and Kylie, she was quietly stepping back from the relationship. By 2023, they had split again. And now Travis Scott is the man carrying the weight of a tragedy, while Kylie pivoted to dating a pale French actor and acting like Travis Scott never existed. The message was very clear. Blackness as a costume, blackness as a brand. And when the costume starts to cause problems, you take it off and you move on. Because that's exactly what happened next. The entire Kar-Jenner family pivoted. Kim went from Kanye to Pete Davidson. Kylie went from Travis Scott to Timothée Chalamet. And just like that, after 2 decades of building their brand using black men, black culture, black music, black aesthetics, they moved on. Clean girl era, minimalist fashion, pale, skinny, tattooed white boys. One person on X put it perfectly, saying the family dates men like they're switching trends. Sports stars, then rappers, then skinny, pale white guys with tattoos. Men as accessories, men as marketing strategies, men as props for the next chapter of the Kardashian brand. And you know what? The internet noticed. People started asking the question that had been sitting under the surface for years. Not why do they date black men, but why do they always leave at the exact moment those men need them most? And why do the women always walk away richer while the men walk away broken? Now, I want you to think about this very carefully, because this is where it gets really interesting. The Kardashians are not just a family, they're a brand. And like any successful brand, every element of their public image serves a specific commercial purpose. And for almost 20 years, that commercial purpose was served, in very large part, by their proximity to blackness. They took the lips, they took the curves, they took the hairstyles, then called them Bo Derek braids when black women pushed back. They built billion-dollar beauty companies on features that black women had been ridiculed for having for generations. And then they sold those features back to the world at a premium. Kim Kardashian once called cornrows Bo Derek braids, completely erased their African roots. And the internet dragged her for it. But the damage was already done. The look was already trendy. The money was already made. As one cultural critic put it, the Kardashians helped turn black culture into a lifestyle brand, a set of styles, features, and attitudes that can be curated consumed, and commodified. And the danger is that blackness is only celebrated when it fits a profitable image, while the real struggles of black people remain ignored. And now that the blackness as brand strategy has run its course, now that the cultural moment has shifted, they've moved on, clean, effortless, unbothered, while the men they left behind are still picking up the pieces. Now, there are people who will say, and I've seen this argument, that the Kardashians deserve credit for Kim's criminal justice reform work, that she helped free black people from prison, that she passed the bar, that she's using her platform for good. And look, if you want to give her credit for that, go ahead. Her work on clemency cases has helped real people. That's real, that's documented. But here is the thing that nobody wants to say out loud. You cannot use black men to build your billion-dollar empire for 20 years, take their culture, take their credibility, take their aesthetic, reduce them to dramatic plot devices on your reality TV show, and then get a pass because you showed up to the White House once. That's not equity, that's a PR strategy. Because Kim Kardashian is worth $1.7 billion, Kylie Jenner is sitting on $670 to $710 million. Khloe has $60 to $90 million. The combined Kardashian-Jenner net worth crosses $2 billion. And every single one of those dollars has a black fingerprint on it somewhere in the supply chain. Meanwhile, Ray J is in a legal battle. Lamar Odom is still recovering from what happened to his body and his career. Kanye West lost his Adidas deal, lost his billion-dollar Yeezy brand, and had his most unraveled years documented in a film he called like being dead and looking back on his life. And Tristan Thompson is bouncing around the NBA with no championship ring and more baby mama drama than anyone can keep track of. And if you need more evidence that this is a pattern and not an accident, and I mean at this point, how much evidence do you need? Look at what's being documented right now. The In Whose Name. Documentary showed Kanye berating Kim on camera. It showed him telling Kris Jenner he felt emasculated. It showed him screaming, crying, unraveling, all while the Kardashian machine kept running in the background, perfectly controlled, perfectly curated. And Kim was terrified of that footage, not because it was unfair to her, but because for the first time she had no control over the edit. On Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she had creative control. Every fight was edited to make her look sympathetic. Every breakup made her look like the victim. But Nico Ballesteros had 3,000 hours of raw footage and nobody could touch it. And what was inside those 3,000 hours was the truth that the show had been carefully hiding for years. The machine is exposed, the pattern is documented, and yet, and this is the part that should really bother you, the Kardashians are still thriving. So what exactly is the plot? Is it intentional? Is it coordinated? Is Kris Jenner sitting in a boardroom somewhere mapping out which black athlete to lure next? Maybe not. Maybe it's more subtle than that. Maybe it doesn't require a conspiracy room and a whiteboard. Maybe the plot is simply this: a family that learned very early that black culture sells, and that the quickest way to access black culture at the highest level is to date the men who create it, to absorb their energy, their aesthetic, their audience, their credibility. And when you've taken what you need, you move on, you rebrand, you pivot. And the men, they absorb the fallout, the scrutiny, the chaos, the addiction, the cheating scandals that get filmed and edited and packaged and sold back to the audience as entertainment, as a storyline, as a season finale cliffhanger. That's the plot, not a witch's curse from 1809. The plot is using black men as the raw material for a billion-dollar content machine, and then discarding them when the content runs dry. And you know what the most disrespectful part of all of this is? The family doesn't even deny it. They just call it their love life. Now, if you're not subscribed yet, now would be a really good time to do that. Because we are just getting started on this conversation, and trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. I want to know your thoughts on this, because people have been dancing around this conversation for years, calling it a curse, calling it bad luck, calling it coincidence. But at this point, the receipts are too long and the pattern is too clear to call it anything other than what it is. Do you think this was all intentional? Or do you think it just happened this way by accident? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.